Hi, this is John Rogers at Michaels & Booth, and I'm here today to talk with you about pharmacy errors. And to understand the role a pharmacist plays in the healthcare system, it's important first to understand the relationship between the physician and the pharmacist, and also some of the things that the pharmacist does do, but also what the pharmacist does not do. The role of the physician involves more moving pieces, arguably, than the role of the pharmacist. For example, a physician on initial examination will perform a physical examination of his patient or her patient, take a history from the patient and perhaps the family too, identify known or potential drug allergies, identify current medications the patient is already on, come to some sort of differential diagnosis about what the patient's problem is, obtain informed consent, that's an important one, and ultimately place orders as part of his or her care and treatment of the patient, which obviously can include orders for medications meant to treat the patient's problems. So the pharmacist's job is a little more complicated than just blindly following the physician's orders to fill a given prescription. For example, what if the prescription is written for a dosage for medication that is just absurdly high or dangerously high? Um, what if it's in the gray area and the prescription is written for a dosage that's simply outside the recommended range? Does the pharmacist have an independent duty to warn the patient, to obtain his own version of informed consent, discussing the risks and benefits and alternatives of a specific treatment option? One of the most serious areas of concern is when drugs have the potential to interact negatively with each other. Unfortunately, a recent study shows the rate of pharmacy errors in this area to be shockingly high. An article in the Chicago Tribune entitled "Pharmacies Miss Half of Dangerous Drug Combinations" was published December 15, 2016. This study evaluated 255 separate pharmacies in the Chicago area to see if they would fill pairs of prescriptions that would be dangerous if taken together. This is one role of the pharmacist, to check medications being prescribed to a patient simultaneously for potentially dangerous interactions. Shockingly, CVS, according to the Tribune study, dispensed the medications 63% of the time without any warning about potentially dangerous interactions that, according to the Tribune, should have been obvious to the prescribing pharmacist. Walgreens' failure rate in the study was reportedly 30%. The study concludes dangerous drug combinations are a major public health problem, hospitalizing tens of thousands of people each year. In the Chicago Tribune study, 3 of the 5 prescription combinations they used caused potentially fatal interactions. Pharmacies in good and bad neighborhoods both failed at high rates. Both independent and chain pharmacies failed at high rates. The risk of injury is real, and the injury being risked in a case like this is potentially catastrophic. Unfortunately, like most medical malpractice cases, rarely will the medicine or liability questions be clear-cut. In most pharmacy error cases, there will be a component of medical liability for the prescribing physician or healthcare team, as well as various treaters may be attempting to blame each other. Pursuing a pharmacy error case involves all of the same compliance with detailed statutory schemes that medical malpractice cases do. This includes submitting an affidavit of a medical expert in an informal investigatory process prior to filing suit, retaining appropriate experts, meeting the burden of persuasion on standard of care and complicated causation issues, and typically involves great expense. The best advice for anyone who believes they or a loved one have been injured as a result of a medical pharmacist error is to discuss the issue with an attorney who has experience in this area. The medical malpractice team at Michaels & Booth have over 63 years of experience working on cases that involve pharmacy and medical errors, not just on the plaintiff side, but on the defense side as well. The law firm of Michaels & Booth provides aggressive and compassionate representation to all clientele. Don't hesitate to give us a call if you have a potential claim, because the statute of limitations may be about to run.